Gaining a tenth a lap. The gap is 4/10. There are 3 laps to go, and now it's about 2 car lengths in turn number 3.
Oh, he dove big time into the corner trying to make a run off of 4. I can't quite get a stick, but he's close to the back bumper this time.
Remember what we said earlier, if Lane Riggs can get to Corey Heim, I almost guarantee you he will make it 7 winners in 7 races. The gap is 1 car length this time in turn 3. Riggs is there, gets into him as we come to the white flag. Final trip around the Langley Speedway. Riggs is there, all over the back bumper of Corey Heim.
Look for the move to be into turn 3.
Riggs is there, underneath the left rear of Corey Heim. This is a replay of last year. He runs him up the racetrack, does Lane Riggs. Off the final turn, Lane Riggs is going to win the Visit Hampton 125. The 7th different winner in 7 races this year on the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour. What a finish. The Cars Tour continues to deliver every single week, and Corey Heim 1 lap short. Wow.
All right, dialing up Danny. Danny, you got your ears on, Danny? Come on.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear there, Brother Love. How you doing tonight?
I am hanging in there, my man, hanging in there. How was thing up there at the corner of the military? Man, you guys were up there at Langley Air Force Base, right there at the corner of all the naval bases and all that stuff up there. How was the area up there in Hampton, Virginia?
Oh, it was awesome. I really enjoy going up to Hampton, Langley Speedway, and it didn't disappoint. Just like every time you used to go up to Langley Speedway, it's always a great show, and another one this weekend.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it, man. You guys always putting on a good show up there. Last couple of times, man. I don't know what they're going to expect next time. Maybe fireworks before the show. Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Race22 Radio, and this is the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour post-race recap podcast presented by Black Acid Apparel with series race director Danny Willard. Black Acid Apparel, be sure and search them up on Facebook. The official outfitter of Race22 Radio. They can make you and anything you got look as good as well as they look old Doc Love look good at the racetrack. Be sure to connect with them on Facebook, Black Acid Apparel. Danny, second time you guys as a tour been up there. Any sightseeing? Did you guys get up there early enough to maybe go look at some of the things around the military?
No, we didn't get a chance. We drove straight up Saturday morning. We didn't make it up Friday, so didn't get to do any sightseeing, but had plenty of excitement at the racetrack.
No doubt. The guys are. I know the fans were really chomping at the bit to get some action up there. They just had the Hampton Heat up there, and some of the guys returned to take a shot at the Cars Tour. So I know the fans are rabid to see some more fast action up there when the tour comes to town. So I know they're excited to see you guys as well. So lots of fans, as per what the county said they could have there outside, and lots of activities there around the racetrack there for you guys.
Yes, yeah, we had limited crowd, but it was great to see, people in the stands up there, but I know they had limitations and everything, but like always, great to see anybody in the grandstands, great to hear them cheering, and what we did have was, they still got a great show, so that's all that matters.
That's right. And, of course, we're talking about this past weekend, August 29th, 2020 at Langley Speedway, Hampton, Virginia. The visithampton.com 125 at the let's see. Let me do that again. Visit Hampton.com. 125 laps for the late model stock cars, standalone event. Of course, they had Tony Stephen calling the action. I think he had the track promoter up there late in the race. Of course, he had all kinds of duties going on that day, so he finally had a chance to come hang out with Tony. Vaughn, I think his last name is Crichton. Is that how you pronounce his last name? The track.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, it's close. I got as close as I could, Vaughn. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't butcher it too bad. He is the Langley.
Nice gentleman. I did meet him.
Young, one of the youngest in the NASCAR ranks as far as track promoters, and very, very sharp. Very sharp track promoter, and does a fantastic job there at Langley Speedway. And, of course, Jacqueline Drake, our very own Jacqueline Drake with the tour. Working Pit Road did another fantastic job. Man, she had a note full of reports before the race even started. Had a couple of cars had to start in the back. She had a full report even before they took the first lap, so she did a fantastic job with that. Job well done. Jacqueline Drake there with the CarsTour.tv and PitRow.tv. They're calling all the action there for those folks. So job well done to Tony, Vaughn, and Jacqueline, calling all the action there. So with that being said, let's jump into some of the news items before we get into the racing action. Yesterday, September 1st, right here in the lovely state of North Carolina, our Governor Stupor mandated North Carolina in stage 2.5, whatever the heck that is. You know, the CDC and all the powers that be are finally coming clean with all the nonsense with the numbers and finally, you know, telling the truth about the COVID deaths and the rates and all this other whatever they're, you know, been playing around with the phony numbers, if you will. I'm not saying there's nothing out there. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that not everything is going to kill you out there, okay? So why are we going backwards? Why are we going backwards in the state of North Carolina? Somebody needs to explain this to me. I'm just so
I'm with you.
Burnt out with this tyrant in North Carolina. So unfortunately, that's going to possibly play havoc with still the schedule that we still have left for the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour schedule, but I do have some confirmations that I wanted to share with you on this podcast as it sets right now on the second day of September. I called and spoke with the folks in the office, got confirmation from Jack himself. So right now, Late Model Stock Car Champion will be crowned at the last scheduled event on the calendar. And as of yesterday, September 1st, 2020, October 18th is the last scheduled event for the Late Model Stock Cars, the $30,000 to win North State Nationals at Orange County Speedway. That is currently on the schedule. And that's right now, as we sit right now at this recording session, that is what is on the calendar right now. Of course, it is subject to change, but that's where the champion will be crowned for the late model stocks at the last scheduled event. Okay, so a lot of people were wondering, you know, going into Langley, is there 3 races left, 4 races left? You know, where are they going to crown the champion? It will be that is a points race. That last $30,000 to win. That is a points race. That's where they're going to crown the champion, Danny. So I don't think a lot of people realize that. That's kind of a news bomb there. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the way it was all planned out. Some people, you know, they were a little bit they didn't know exactly if that race was just going to be for the money or going to be a points race, and also for the money. And you know, the answer's yes, it's both. You know, it's points and for the big money. So $30,000 to win, plus it is our season championship to decide our champion in the late model stock division.
That's right. And a little bit of news for the super late models, if you hadn't heard or not keeping score at home. Short Track Nationals at Bristol for the super late models does not count for points, but we would like to see some of our guys represented. that run all of our races and represent the Cars Tour. I'd like to see those guys go there and represent well at Bristol, but it is not a points race for the Cars Tour at the Short Track Nationals at Bristol. All right, and the Super Late Models champ will be crowned at the last scheduled event on the calendar for the Super Late Models, and that is the 10,000 to win Peach State Classic at Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. Right now, as we said before, like for the late model stocks, on today's recording on the second day of September, right now as it sits, that is scheduled. The last scheduled for the Super Late Model is the Peach State Classic. Recently, it has switched to a Saturday event, according to the Gresham Motorsports Park website. So that is a October 24th event, according to the website. So we need to make sure we get all that synced up. All right, let's talk about the racing actions from this past weekend for the late model stocks. As the super late models had races at various places, and guys were scattered all over the Midwest, and some guys went dirt racing. Need to find out where Jonathan Schaefer's going racing this coming weekend. I know he might be doing some dirt racing because he was racing with the late model stocks this past weekend, so we need to keep up with his extracurricular activity. That dirt racing, that is so interesting, racing in midget cars. So, but anyway, how about it? Corey Heim snagging the pole. The first, second time, two-time winner of the pole. So, we were wondering if we're going to get a different winner, keep that roll going. And same thing with the pole, but finally that streak broke. So I thought, is this going to be the first two-time winner at an event this year? So Corey won the pole at Hickory earlier this year, and then won the pole at Langley this past weekend, 15.953, 89.137 miles per hour. A little off the pole from last year. Lane Riggs setting the track record for the Tour, about 2.246 off the pole from last year. It was pretty hot out there for you guys during qualifying, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty hot. Sun. I think it come out during the qualifying session. I mean, it was pretty hot. Yeah, it was.
And I took a look at the breakdown. 1 through 10 was 0.150. Spread 1 through 24. Again, as I've been keeping track since it caught my eye earlier this season, again, the entire field way under a second. It was 0.738. Have yet to see a field that tight of that caliber of competition throughout anywhere, going around and covering other late model stocks fields. So very impressive on a flat track like that. And when you especially have locals and folks that have been there for the first time, and us as going there as a group, lots of new faces with the group this year, young racers. Example, Jonathan Schaefer, young man, not too shabby, there for the first time, and a lot of other folks there going there for the second time. Man, that's pretty good. I'm impressed with this whole group.
Oh yeah.
When you look at
I am too. I mean,
that.
it's amazing to see some of these youngsters, the way they adapt to new facilities that we go to. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, just they go out there, they back them off the trailer, and I mean, I know they got some really good teams and crew chiefs and stuff, but they gotta aim them. They gotta get around there. So it's amazing just to see them, go out there and hook up like they do, and top 5, right off the bat in speed charts. I mean, it's crazy.
That's a good choice of words. They got to aim them.
Yeah, they got to aim them. Somebody's got to aim them. I mean, they're not remote control, so hey, they're the ones in there to turn the steering wheel, so they got work to do.
Yeah. You look at Nolan Pope. I don't know if he raced the late model out there last year, but Connor Mozak, he's first time there. Minnie Tyrell, I don't know if he raced there last year. I think possibly maybe, but definitely second time around.
He did.
Really stretching his legs this time. You look at some of these guys like that. I don't know if Corey Heim raced last year in a late model out there. But, man, I mean, look at how well these guys performed this year. And of course, Jonathan Schaefer, I know he didn't run out there last year. He never seen that part of Virginia before. He's got family there in Eden, North Carolina. He raced go-karts throughout some of Virginia, but I don't know if he'd been out that far yet in Virginia. But first time on that racetrack for sure. So just so impressed with all this group we got this year, and it's just incredible when you look at the speeds and how close they are in competition. And
yes,
and it just and at the end of the race, which I don't want to jump forward too quick, but how many cars finished on the lead lap, and only 2 or 3 were 1 lap down. So and that don't leave but 2 or 3 that had issues at the end of the night. So I'm just so blown away at the level of the group that we have this year, that time in and time out, just no matter how big the track or how small the track, they still put on a great show and show just class top to bottom. So let's jump right into it. Corey Heim from the pole chose the inside. The green flag dropped around 8:37. So it's sun's going down, but the track was still hot. So I thought it was kind of interesting, because I've been keeping my eye on some of the activities there, and a lot of times the local guys, they'll choose the top side. So I thought it was pretty interesting to see the local guys, our guys, choose the bottom. It's kind of the standard there for if you don't know much about the track, everybody wants to be on the bottom, the shortest distance around the corners. So he jumps out there, gets the lead early on. Cautions came out fairly quick though. Was the first caution, was it a competition caution, was the first one?
Yeah, I think so. I'm showing lap 40 competition caution.
Yeah,
I think we went 40 laps of tight, close racing, but we didn't make it to that first opportunity for a competition caution.
There you go. And then Corey chose the bottom again on the restart. And then didn't take long, and then we had a big smash up. 2 or 3 cars, Carroll in the 91, and then Coulter in the 22, got together in 3 and 4. And Jacqueline spoke with one of the drivers. He really wasn't happy with a couple of them in the pits. He was not happy. So I think one of his quotes was, he shouldn't have been back there driving with the rest of the trash, or something to that effect. So,
yeah, boy. I mean, here's a moment, things get said, and I mean, but it was, you got 40 laps down. I think it was lap 42 that this wreck happened, and I mean, it's so tight. Some of these tracks are raced at, and like we talk about the competition, they're all over each other, and I know things happen, but there wasn't a replay to review on that one, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. I just saw a couple cars get together. I went over and I did take a look, but there wasn't a replay available for that one. But I know that the 91 and the 22 of Coulter, they Justin Carroll in the 91, and Grayson, got together, and Grayson took a pretty good lick there.
Yeah.
And first thing, I was worried about was concerned about him, and which he did get out of the car. It was okay, but that was our first concern.
Yeah, absolutely, and glad that no one was hurt. But kind of what struck me is the first major crash was 2 guys that are from that area and raced together, either there or Dominion, or at other Virginia tracks. So I thought that was kind of odd that 2 of the local guys, Virginia racers, get together. Which I thought they would at least try to avoid each other, being local guys. But also during that time was when we saw Trey Cruz start knifing his way up through the field, and maybe kind of roughed up Justin Johnson maybe a little bit. Almost really turned around Jared Fryer. Now, let me ask you this. Here's a question that came up in my mind when I was watching that. It is what it is. You're on a tight, flat track. Everybody's running close to the same speeds when you're in traffic. It's almost like the Bowman Gray effect, okay? To pass, it's an art. To create an opportunity, And I'm not going to say you need to bump and run over somebody to pass, because that's not racing. Now, when you go to a track like Langley, as a race director, do you have to take a look at how the racing activity normally takes and what it normally takes to pass? Do you have to take that in consideration, or do you have to say, okay, here's how we do it the car's way, and this is what I expect?
You know, the flow it varies at each track. You know, the flow and how things happen, how quickly they happen. Of course, like you're saying though, Langley, it's a pretty flat track and you're on top of each other. And then some tracks you can get away from each other a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. But overall, no. I mean, if you it's the same thing. I mean, if you run over a guy, you turn a guy, you wreck a guy, then you're wrong. I mean, and it don't matter where we race at. And these guys, I mean, they race hard, and there is bumping and there is some grinding, and that's expected. I mean, this is a bunch of the best late model stock teams in the business, if not the best, with us, with the Cars Tour. So they're going to race hard. I mean, these guys they're at the track, test and practice on Friday. Then on Saturday they show up. We practice and then we go racing. And they're there basically for 2 days. Most of them, 90% of them. We might have a couple that show up on Saturday morning. But long story short, these guys are there to race. They're going to race hard. I mean, the money's good. I mean, we have a good paying series here. I mean, without a doubt. And so it's expected that they're going to bump and grind. But when you go past the limit, regardless of where we're racing at, and you intentionally take a man out and wreck him, then I'm going to do my job and penalize you. I mean, but it's the same at every track. It's just I mean, the flow's a little different sometimes on how things happen and how quickly they happen. But at the end of the day, rules are rules, and I've got to be consistent.
Yeah, because that's a tough question, and I appreciate you answering that. But because I thought Trey Cruz, I don't want to say he was rough driving, but I think he was really using track knowledge and a really good setup, because he was really worrying them to death. I don't think he was really bumping and running. I think he was really racing close and worrying them to death and creating a lot of havoc and making people make mistakes. But I really thought he got into Jared Fryer pretty heavy, but I think he let him gathered it up before he raced him hard again. So I think he did at least let him do that from what I remember. Of course, I'm old, so I got to check my memory. I might go back and watch the film again.
I am familiar with Trey. I mean, I know he's a regular most time at South Boston. I've seen him race a lot, over the last couple of years, and also, he's raced up Ace and great driver. Don't get it wrong, but I was keeping an eye on him and making sure that everything.
He had a good car too. Yeah, his car was good. He was really moving forward.
He had a good car. He did until he had his, flat tire issue, which hated that, which forced him, he spun the car out and everything because the tire went down. But Haiti had bad luck, but he did have a good car.
Yeah, and then right after those moments, the camera caught some great action with Riggs and Corey Haim, doing the crossover move for the lead there. And it was really close racing, and they got to each other, racing hard for the lead, and Riggs did not lead at that time. I thought he did. It was really close, but he did not lead a lap during those exchanges, and that was racing hard for the lead at that point. But he never did lead a lap, and that was around lap 60. And they were really racing hard for the lead and did the old crossover move and run, and Riggs, I think, felt like he got ran up the track, and we'll hear the soundbite here after a while. During that exchange, and I think he held that in the back of his mind for later in the race. and you hear him talk about that. But then Riggs fell back, and here comes the 22. And then he takes over the lead. I think Heim led laps 1 through 72, and then Bobby comes and takes over the point on lap 72. And then Brandon Pierce, I think we started keeping tabs on him. He started getting really loose. His car got really loose. I know he was really hoping for a great run to get to Franklin County behind him, but he started getting really loose around lap 58. Caution came out again, lap number 3. Caution number 3, lap 82. That was a competition. That was the final competition, lap 82. So was that a quickie?
Lap 82. I'm going back. You know what? I don't have in my notes.
You don't remember the last quickie?
No, I did open the pits. I believe I did open the pits on lap 82. I believe.
Okay.
I'm not. I think I did open the pits on lap 82.
Okay.
And allowed whoever needed to come down pit road, and but on my notes here, I'm not sure. I think I did open on lap 82 because we had a caution after that, and I don't believe I opened it up because I was trying to get things going again because it was a quickie yellow. So. But yeah, I think lap 82, I believe I did open the pits.
Okay. All right. And then Bobby chose the bottom on the restart. And lo and behold, Corey Heim takes the lead from the outside. Boy, that was a very important exchange. And man, that was incredible because, that was some good racing. And that's when you start, seeing guys according effect. That's when you start seeing who had what. And then that's when you started seeing, on that report that Jacqueline had on Blake Stallings, the RNS team car, the house car, he had to start in the back. And holy cow, he came through the field, but I don't think he touched anybody. If he did, then I missed it, or I'm just not thinking, like going back to my previous comment, I'm old. The only time he might have touched somebody, I know he and Bobby raced really hard there for a little while when they finally, got together on the track, when he finally got up to Bobby. Right.
I don't know if they touched, but they raced really hard, and if they did, it wasn't nothing intentional, of course. They were just racing hard, but, he was coming through the field, had a great car.
Yeah, because I knew Bobby, I couldn't remember who the contact was, but I knew Bobby, his car changed I don't know if I wrote it down, but he whoever he had made contact with, it changed his toe and his handling went away. And I couldn't remember if that was with the 19 or somebody else. Now that you bring that up.
Yeah, it might have been with the 19. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I know he did mention that he had contact with someone, and I did not see it. But
yeah.
But I know he had contact with someone and
during
knocked the
hard
toe out,
racing.
and his car just kind of went away.
And it wasn't much. It really wasn't.
No.
It didn't seem like it was much, from watching. But I'm sure in the car it felt like it plowed each other. And then that's when around the caution number 4. That's when Terry Carroll went sliding down the back straightaway.
Yes, he went out through the grass on the back. Yeah, I saw him sliding out through there, and he didn't tear anything up or anything, and he did pull away, which was good.
And that's when Corey Heim changed things up and chose the high side.
Yes.
And
Corey, he did chose the outside on that restart there, and I think that's something he learned from Lee a long time ago. I remember years ago at the Hampton Heat when Lee ran the outside and kept, which Lee Pulliam, his car owner, was. I think he learned some years ago up there to make it work on the outside late in the race, especially because when he jumped up there, I kind of remembered Lee dominating years ago up there in one of the Hampton Heat races at Langley and making that outside work. So that kind of brought back memories there. I think that team they know a little something about how to make one work on the outside up there pretty well.
Oh, yeah. And, I think someone was also watching notes from the Hampton Heat. I think someone also in the Hampton Heat made it work from the outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone was going to the notes. And so they raced hard, and I think that was during the time where Corey started noticing that he was having a hard time working. He had started working the outside to get around traffic, and he caught traffic kind of odd and was struggling with traffic and had to race traffic really hard. And I think that's about when Lane started reeling in the leader, and he was really knifing through traffic and working the outside. And I think that's when he started to discover the outside. And Trey Cruz was really knifing through and starting to work his way to be a player. But lap 88, that's when he I think it was Lane had made contact and cut that rear tire down and spun out. Forgot what corner it was in, but he did cut that tire down and spun out and ended his Trey ended his
Turn one.
Good run there. Turn one it was. So that ended his run forward, but he did bounce back to have a good run. But that ended his night, his bid for the win. But yeah, he probably had one of the better cars between him and Blake Stallings there at the end. If it just came down to track position for those two guys, but on the restart, Corey chose the top again. And then got away from Lane, and then once again Lane reeled him in from running the high side. And when it came down to the end, for the last 2 years, the winner at Langley for the Cars Tour only led the last 150 yards. So what kind of stat do you have for that?
I'll tell you, I mean, that just...
how incredible is that, man?
I guess our stats at Langley is it's not over until you get to the start-finish line, and don't ever give up, I guess. I mean, because, it's 2 years in a row. I mean, we've had some great finishes at Langley. And, you go back 15 laps to go in the race, and it looked like Corey Heim was going to be our first repeat winner of the year.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. And then, lap cars, he ran into a couple lap cars there, and a couple of them, might have raced him a little harder than I would like to see. But, they did get out of the way. And, but, it's pretty obvious Lane had a better car there at the very end.
Right.
And, and Corey, he was running as hard as he could, and Lane caught up with him there at the right time and made it interesting, and got around him on the last lap.
Absolutely. And for the top 10 rundown, this is going to be a special shout out for Pitmaster Dave Birch of Smoky Dave's Barbecue. He is a part of the Operation Barbecue Relief Disaster Relief Team. He went down for the recent hurricane that hit Louisiana, so he went down there as soon as it hit landfall, and when those residents were in need, he went down there with the relief team. And then whenever Texas was in need, so now he's over in Beaumont, Texas. So he's left his family in North Carolina. He's been down there with the relief team. So hats off and special shout out to Smoky Dave, Dave Birch, down there taking care of folks and feeding people and taking care of the communities down there that is left in the path of the hurricanes that hit land down in Louisiana and Texas. So he's a big supporter of the Cars Tour, a big supporter of Orange County Speedway and racing in the North Carolina area. So just want to give a special shout out for him. So this top 10 rundown is a big special shout out to Smoky Dave Birch. So appreciate him so much. All right, finishing first, of course, is Lane Riggs, getting that win this year. He was wanting so bad. And in Victory Lane, our Race22.com, Brandon White caught up with Lane Riggs during the post-race. said Riggs stated that he raced Heim there at the end like he was raced early in the race, and said 15 to go, that's when he went hammered down, and said it feels good to be in victory lane.
Man, it feels awesome. I didn't think that we had the winning car about halfway through the race, and I said I'm just going to salvage the best finish I can, and then me and Corey got there on a long run, spread out, and he said it's about 15 to go, and I just gave it all I had, and there I was. I had the best car on the track, and it just drove right up to him. He chopped me off a couple times early on, crossed me over, shoved me up the track, so I raced him back the same way, and we ended up with the win.
He also asked him if he thought the high line was going to work as well as it did when he raced through the field.
Not at all, not at all. I think it's just the rubber that was here, it was the right circumstances, and you got to search around for it like a dirt track, and had to run some really funky lines to get it to work, and I feel like had one of the oddest lines out there, but like I said, it rocketed to the front, and I've never seen anybody run that line here, and I'm sure it'll be something that goes on for the future.
He asked Lane about catching Corey, but he also asked him about his thoughts on how he was going to pull off the pass.
I think he was just banking on staying green the whole time, which it did, but I think he just burned it up too much getting out there and got his tires too hot. And about 10 to go, he was spinning him off every corner. I said, well, I'm not spinning yet, so I got something for him, and just railed the top side, big momentum, and we were on his bumper and took advantage of it.
And then Corey Heim did lead the most laps, and he ended up finishing second. And Brandon caught up with Corey, and Corey talked about racing with Lane down the stretch and how his car was going away at the end. But Corey still says he led laps, had a fast car. Good night overall.
It was a good night overall. I mean, I qualified on the pole. Had a really fast car all the way throughout the race, led a lot of laps. Couldn't really ask for much more on the car side. My lead point performance guys gave me a great car. Just was on the wrong end of it there in the last lap. I've won a few races like that. Tonight I lost like that, unfortunately. So, it is what it is. I haven't really seen exactly what happened there. I know I got, lifted up and then door coming to the line, but, that's just part of it. Short track racing, that's going to happen. So, it is what it is, and we'll move on to the next one.
Well, you and Lane were mixing it up early. I mean, you pulled that crossover move on him, so, it looked like you two were done with the class in the field tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Lane's a hard racer. He can be a little rough, but, that's about how half the field is with Cars Tour and just late model racing in general, and that's how you win races sometimes. So, all respect to him, all props to him for being able to catch me there. I got really stuck behind the lap cars, when I was trying to get by those guys. I felt like I had it until I caught the lap traffic. So, it is what it is. Just props to him for being able to figure out how to navigate them better than me and come out front.
Did you feel like your car was going away at all?
Yeah, I really did, honestly. I think, I mentioned the lap cars. Like, I really just had to burn my stuff up around the outside to get by him, and I felt like by the time there was 8 to 10 laps to go, there was no rear tires. So, it's just part of it, man. Just got to move on to the next one.
Jared Fryer, your points leader, finished third. Minnie Tyrell finished fourth. Blake Stallings ended up fifth. Bobby McCarty finished sixth. Nolan Pope seventh. Connor Mozak finished eighth. Jonathan Finley finished ninth. Chad McCumbee rounded out your top 10. And we talked about Trey Cruz coming through the field. Trey Cruz ended up 12th, even though he didn't have the flat tire, and he did finish on the lead lap. And Brandon caught it with him on the post race. And as we said before, he was knifing his way through the field till a cut tire slowed him down.
Just unfortunately was running for the third position right there with Lane and on the outside, and just got together a little bit and cut the left rear tire. And it's unfortunate, because we had maybe a top 3 car and weren't able to finish where it deserved to finish. So a little heartbreaking, but it's nice to come out here and run with all this great competition and have a car that is capable of doing that. Was hoping for a top 10, and I come to the racetrack to win, so that's what we're shooting for. We come in, I know it's a lot of great guys, and we raced a lot against a lot of them in the Hampton Heat, and we was really good then, so I feel like this track was going to be a little advantage since we just raced here for the Hampton Heat, but it was a different ball game with these different tires, and we worked our tails off yesterday and today to finally get the speed we needed to run with these guys. So it was definitely harder than what I expected, but we stepped up to the plate, and we had a good car.
Yeah, I mean, we had 18 cars still in the lead lap there, at the end, which is just incredible. I mean, just a few cars that were a lap down, then, it was just that's how tight the competition is right now at the car store. It's amazing. I mean, that that many cars stay on the lead lap, and the ones that did go a lap down there were right at the very end. You know, so I mean that's awesome. I mean just you can't beat it. We can't beat the competition we've got right down the car store, and it's been like this all year. I mean, if you haven't been able to come out and check out a car store race, I mean, I don't know what you're waiting on. You need to come check it out because I mean these guys and gals, I mean they're tough, and they go at it from start to finish. I mean it's pretty obvious. I mean we've had seven late model stock races this year with our cars tour and 7 different winners. So I mean what else you want?
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, that's incredible. That's just stout competition. When you see that many cars racing by, thundering by on the lead lap, man, it's just incredible. It's just really thrilling to watch. So let's take a quick look at the points. Let's see, and it did tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Lane Riggs knocked off 3 from the points lead, even though I think Connor was in second, or Corey. I can't remember who was in second, but he knocked off 3 from the points lead. I think it was 16. Now it's down to 13-point lead. Lane Riggs now in second. Jared Fryer still your leader with 202 points. Lane Riggs is now moves up 1 spot and now in second, 13 points behind your leader. Corey Heim is now in second. So yeah, Connor was in second there. He drops 2 spots, now in fourth. Corey Heim is up a couple spots now after running real good. Last couple races is in third spot. Connor drops a couple spot. He's in fourth. Bobby McCarty stays in the 4th spot. Nolan Pope stays in 6th. Jonathan Schaefer drops 1 spot. He's in 7th. Brandon Pierce stays in the same spot, 8th. Jonathan Finley stays in the same spot, 9th. Chad McCumbee up 1 spot in the 10th. He's now in the top 10 in points. And the top 10 are only separated by 68 points. So, and not far off of that, Matt Cox, interesting for him, he's in 11th, just 1 spot out of the 10th spot, has run all 925 laps. We've only got 4 guys that's run all 925 laps. Jared Fryer, Connor Mozak, Jonathan Schaefer, and Matt Cox. Those 4 gentlemen are the only guys that have completed all 925 laps. Fantastic. Minnie Tyrell is in 12th, so down to 16th is 105 laps separating. So it ain't over. It ain't over.
Oh no, it ain't over. I mean, we, like you were saying earlier, we still got 3 late model stock races to go.
Yeah.
Till we determine, who's going to be our champion for the 2020 season. I mean, will it be a first timer or will it be a repeat? I mean, we still got, I think you said Bobby was 5th in the points. And so he's not out of this deal yet.
Yeah, he's tied. Was actually tied for 4th, 21 points behind the leader.
So or I mean, something else you got to look at here that I don't think we brought up is will we have will the late model stock champ for 2020? If it is Jared Fryer, then it will be our first guy to win both the super late model and the late model stock championship. So that would be something new if that does happen.
Yep, that will be new grounds for sure. So, Carteret, that is next on our schedule. We're not on the schedule for this coming weekend, 3-day weekend. It's Labor Day, right? Is it Memorial Day?
That's right.
Labor Day. Labor Day.
There you
Lord
go.
Have mercy.
You got it right.
I work too hard. I can't even remember the holidays.
I'm with you on that.
And lots of cool things going on this weekend. But anyway, Solid Rock Carriers 125 at Carteret County Speedway, Swansboro, North Carolina. Swansboro, if I didn't say it right. The last time we were there was kind of interesting. It was like a It was a crash 'em up, burn 'em up style type of race. I was there. It was ugly, and people were not happy. The fans were rabid. They saw lots of action, lots of good local racing too, I might add. But track record there, if you're interested, keeping score at home. Lane Riggs, he is hot here lately and moving up the points. The plot thickens. Lane Riggs, 15.677. That is the track record for the Cars Tour. And while we're talking Lane Riggs, the plot thickens. Would you happen to know that Lane Riggs is the only active driver that will be in the house with the Tour that has 2 top 5s of the last 2 races that the Tour has been there? This will be the 3rd trip for the Tour. So, advantage Riggs.
Yeah, I mean, Lane, he gets around Carteret really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the races we ran down with the Cars Tour, plus, also they
He
had
won
a big
he
limited
won that
race
big
down
limited
there.
race, didn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I helped call that race down there for that event, and Lane won that one. So I mean, he's really good there. But Jared went down there and ran a regular show early this year to get familiar with the
He
track.
got some data. He got some data.
Yeah.
Yes, he
right.
did. Yes, he did, because he didn't run that race last year. He hadn't run that in the late model.
That's right.
That's right.
That's exactly right. And we've never had a super race there. So
That's
Jerry
right.
went down there and got familiar with the track, which was smart. I mean, on the off weekend, he went down there and ran with the locals and everything, and did really well. So I look for him to, I mean, let's be honest, Jerry has been really good. Pretty much wherever we've been this year. I mean, they've got a really good package right now, along with Corey Heim, along with Lane Riggs, and a dozen other ones. We may have a, dare I say, an 8th different winner. I mean, it could happen. I mean,
Awesome.
at Carteret, I mean, it really would surprise me. I mean, you've got guys like Jonathan Schaefer, you've got Minnie Terrell. I mean, anybody, can roll in Carteret County and pull off a win. And, I'm just looking forward to seeing another great race. I don't care who wins. I just want to see a great race. And
Well, who had the best 2 cars there at
say
Langley?
that again?
Who had the best 2 cars at Langley? I'm not talking about the winner.
Yeah, I mean, the best 2 cars at Langley, I mean, they did win. I mean, in my opinion, I mean,
Trey Cruz.
Lane was,
I'd like to see
Trey
Trey Cruz
Cruz,
come back and race
yeah.
with us. And
yeah, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great to see Trey. I mean, since, like I said, since South Boston is not running and Ace isn't either, I mean, hopefully Trey will, consider coming to race with us down there. I mean, as well as he ran at Langley Speedway, and the track is very similar in some characteristics to Carteret. I mean, it's pretty flat. I mean, and it's got some similarities. So, someone like a Trey Cruz could probably roll in down there and do very well. I mean, and hopefully some of the other Langley guys that ran with us up there will come race with us as well. Justin and Terry Carroll's always great to have them guys running with us. I know they've been running a schedule this year pretty much with the Langley group up there, and they ran with us some last year. Hope they'll come back and race with us at Carteret. That'd be great.
And Blake Stallings, and what type of chassis does Blake Stallings? He runs the RNS house car. What type of chassis does Jared Fryer run?
He runs the
there
same
you
thing.
go.
I mean,
Lots of data
they've
being.
got a really good package. Really good package right now. I mean, they
right,
there's several of them that's hit on some stuff here lately. It looks like that are really comfortable with what they have and what they're running with. I mean, I talked to one team that says they're pretty much running the same setup at about every track, pretty much, and they run across something that's working, and and they say it's kind of crazy right now. They say it seems to work everywhere they go. So, I'm sure some of the other teams have run across it as well. But who's going to be the next one to find that miracle setup and make it work? I mean, I guess we'll just have to find out.
Yeah, and Let me throw this one at you. A guy that I thought was really going to win this race last year, Chad McCumbee, who won the pole there last year.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Chad. Chad could roll in down there and win the race. I mean, yeah, he rolled in there last year, won the pole, and it was. I'm glad Chad's racing with us this year. Yep. I mean, I know he hasn't had the results that he's, looking for. I'm sure, but Chad's very competitive. A lot of experience. At the Myrtle Beach Speedway. The old Myrtle Beach Speedway, and that's not with us anymore. I hate that. I still got to get that through my head that there's no more Myrtle Beach Speedway. But I'm glad Chad's running with us. It'd be nice to see his teammate Sam Yarborough make a race with us too. I keep trying to hit on him a little bit. I hope Sam will consider racing with us some. Maybe next year. I keep building him up. Hoping that maybe he'll get to race with us and. Any of those guys that don't, have a home down Myrtle Beach now, maybe they'll come race with us and give us a try.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see that, and that would be a great place for them to come see us. So, but yeah, a lot of folks say, and I guess it's true that Carteret was kind of based off of Langley, so it makes a lot of sense that the guys that are good at Langley would be good at Carteret. So yeah, I think that would be awesome to see Chad. Come in there and upset all the guys that are supposed to be good there and that are on these good runs, and I'd love to see Chad McCumbee come in there and do that. That would be I think that'd be awesome, especially for him in his program. So, but he has shown some fantastic speed at times, and I just he just can't seem to put the whole show together. So, but boy, when he does, he is going to put it on him. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Chad, I mean, he's a world-class talent. He can road race and does a fantastic job. So when they put that whole package together, a whole race together, he's going to put it on them. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of talent there, Chad. Nice guy, and I mean, I'm really glad they're running. Also, I'm glad Matt Cox. I'm pretty much that they. I'm glad they both decided to race with us this year, and I mean, wish them both the best. And both of them are super competitive. A lot of experience, like I said, down at Myrtle Beach and some other facilities, and they're getting a lot of experience this year racing with us full time, and I think it will pay off eventually.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely agree with you. So, race number, that'd be race number 8. Once again, that'd be September 12th for the late model stock, Solid Rock Carriers 125, Carteret County Speedway, as it sets right now during this recording. If you're listening to the podcast throughout the weeks leading up to that, be sure and the best thing we can tell you is keep it dialed in to carsracingtour.com and race22.com for all the latest. And as soon as any changes, that's where you'll find it, carsracingtour.com and race22.com. And as far as the supers, the next race won't be as far as the points race, will be race number 6 for those guys. That will be the super late model race, the dual race, at September 19th at tentatively at South Boston Speedway is the race date for that. So hopefully, need to be getting out there and seeing Miss Kathy Rice. Love me some Kathy Rice. So man, I miss the racing community needs to have a race at South Boston Speedway. So I sure hope we get to go out there.
Yeah, I do as well, and I think we'll get the answer to that by the end of the week, based off of what Jack McNally, series owner, was telling us at the race at Langley. I think he and Kathy have been talking, and I think a decision will be made on that one by the end of this week, if I understood correctly. So hope it'll be great news, and we'll be racing at South Boston on 19th. I always look forward to going up there, and I look forward to going to South Boston every year, even if it's not a car store race. I like going to South Boston and watching a race or two during my off time. So
shoot, I just go up there to eat.
Yeah, boy. I mean, go up there and eat the food. I mean, the bologna burgers. I mean, call up Elliott Sadler, see if he'll come up there and challenge you to a eat-off or something.
Go up there and see Kenny Lang. That's my twin. We could pass as
Kenny
twins.
Lang. Good old Kenny.
Yes, sir. That's my buddy right there. We go up there and sweet up to Miss Kathy Rice. Oh, she's so sweet. I can just hang out with her all day. But let's take, speaking of new grounds and what might happen with all this stuff that we've been talking about coming up in the future. So, who knows? All right, we talked about what is on the schedule. So, let's talk about some scenarios, okay?
Okay.
You know, we just came from Norfolk, Hampton, where, you know, a lot of the military, you know, I was in the military. So you got to go over scenarios. You got to have a backup to the backup to the backup, okay? You got to have a war plan. Let me see your war face.
That's right.
Let me see your war face.
You got to have a plan. You got to have a contingency. You got to be ready. You can't be caught off guard. So, but yeah, now let's see. Let's throw this around a little bit. If you and I were making a decision, if we can't go to South Boston, God forbid, because these crazy ass governors we got to deal with. Let me put that out there as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
If we had to make a decision, where would you pick? Now we got to stay in the kind of the same region, I guess. Where would you pick?
Yeah.
Where would you pick?
You know, there are so many tracks out there that, you know.
Quit being political. Pick a track.
What's that again?
I said, quit being political. Pick a track.
Well, you know, those tracks that we haven't been to this year that, me personally, I would like to see us go race at. And, you know, it's got to be a track that we can, you know, if it's something that replaces the South Boston race, it's going to have to be a facility that can take on both, you know, the super late models and late model stock.
Right.
And so that's the first thing. And, you know, facilities, you know, vary, and some of them have larger pits than others, and some of them, you know, can cater to what we need better than others. But, you know, there's tracks that, you know, we made it work at Franklin County. We did. I mean, with both divisions. I mean, we made it work. I know that there were some bumps in the road on that particular day when we were at Franklin County. I mean, you know, it was a kind of a rush deal, and we made it through it. It was a great race. Yes, it was. Can we do better if we go back? I think we can, and I think, you know, track manager for Langley, Austin, he stated that he has some repairs that he's going to make, and
he knows what he needs to do.
And I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll work on those, and if he does, who knows? I mean, but you know, you've got, you know, me looking at, you know, all the great tracks that are around that we haven't visited. I mean, like Lonesome Pine up there. I mean, they just opened back up, and I look for big things out of Lonesome Pine. Will we go up there in the future? Who knows? I hope that maybe that's an option. You know, that, you know, back in my old UARA days, I mean, I mean,
one of my favorites.
I used to love going up there.
Yep.
And I mean, hopefully that might be an option down the road. But, you know, who knows? That would be one that would pop in my head that, you know, right off the bat. I mean, you know, there's tracks that we haven't been to in a while that, I mean, I'm big on Tri-County. I mean, I know Tri-County's not operating right now, but as far as a great show, Tri-County never
centrally
fails.
Located. You can have lots of pit space. It can house supers and late models.
Yes. I mean, there's that track. I mean, you know, I know they've done a lot of repairs up there. The place looks
They got it looking really good. I visited there and didn't work it as you know, doing the Race 22. We did the trackside parking, and we had a ball. We had a ball. My buddy Boo came up and hung out with us. Drove up from Georgia just to see how the new owners did the place, and man, he came up from Georgia just to see the track, and man, they got that place looking fantastic, and the racing is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the place, I mean, they've up until when they had to close back down, they had a great season going. I mean,
they really had a good thing going. They really did.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to tracks, I mean, me personally, if we can't go to South Boston, I really would like to go somewhere. I mean, this is me talking, not the series, not
right.
Jack. I would really like to go.
This last part, this is just Doc and Danny.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to go to a track we haven't been to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. I mean, there are so many great facilities out there that we haven't had a chance to go to. I mean, or the option wasn't on the table when the schedule was put together, or so on, whatever. I mean, Anderson, Greenville Pickens, I mean, Dillon, I mean, Florence under new management, Steve, Zacharias down there, trying to get that place ramped up and going, I hated the passing of Charlie Powell. I mean, that was, had some experience with him over the years ago when I run late model super trucks. Hated to hear about his passing, but I know the new management group had already moved into place down there and was fixing it up. I look for big things out of them. I mean, there are so many tracks that we haven't been to this year that I like to visit. I think there some of those tracks I just said. I think there will be some really good races some of these tracks. And then, don't get me wrong, so all the tracks we've been to this year, I mean, the racing's been off the chart everywhere we've been. I mean, there's no complaining. I mean, I don't think there's been a track that we've been to this year that anybody said, "Oh man, the racing was terrible." I mean, we put on a great show at Hickory twice. I mean, we put on a great show at Ace. And there's, and I hate Ace is shut down right now. I mean, due to our, wonderful governor we have.
A tyrant.
But I don't know. Jack has a plan in mind. He hasn't announced it. Jack has a backup plan in mind for the South Boston race. But, I mean, I hope we go to South Boston. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against that, and I do want to go. But there is a backup plan in place. It may not happen on that weekend of the 19th. He did state that. It could be on another weekend to be determined if the South Boston race doesn't happen. And, also, I mean, I really hope the $30,000 win race happens at Orange County. That's where we had it last year. That's where we wanted to continue to have it.
I do too. I really hope that falls on that weekend.
To start a tradition. I mean, that was the plan. I mean, I know Chris Regal, he originally put this thing together, did a great job last year. And that was, his vision to have the race at Orange County every year and build on it and make it, hopefully bigger and better each year.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't big enough last year, don't get me wrong. I mean, but if we do not get to go to Orange County, Jack has stated, we will race somewhere else. I mean,
I just hope that we're able to do it on the same weekend. If it does have to be at another facility, I'm a nobody, but my day job, we have to put in for vacation so far ahead. Luckily, I was able to put in for vacation, and I got a little, logs in the fire about doing some live radio in conjunction with that big weekend. Luckily, things will fall into place for that weekend. But if we have to do it at another venue, hopefully it'll be on that same weekend, because I can do live stuff no matter where we go. But it'll take, with the getting everything worked out. Even if we're doing it in Orange County, I need to be off of the day job to travel and get everything set up and not doing everything last minute, and so hopefully the powers that be, if we have to change venues, let's keep it on the same weekend.
That's my plea. I agree. I would like to do that. I mean,
and I think it would be easier for the race teams to not have to change weekends, even if we have to change venues. Because it's hard enough to change reservations from motels from one city to the next, but to change the whole weekend, when you're trying to get crew and stuff like that, and they have to get off from their day jobs and so forth. So,
Right.
I mean, it's aggravating enough as it is. So, hopefully, we won't have to deal with that. We will get to go racing in Orange County because that's, I love all these tracks, but don't get me wrong. But I think for the late models, I think Kingsport needs to be on there. Needs to be a staple. That's
Hey, I'm a big fan. I like Kingsport. I really do.
the
I mean, we
people,
was up
the
early this
fans
year and
up on the
talked
hill.
Aaron
The
and
people
Will and
have
everybody.
eyes. Yeah. The people have eyes over there. The hills have eyes, I guess. I should have said. Love that. That is so much fun over there. That those fans are fantastic over there. So, but
They
yeah,
are.
now that Lonesome Pine was a staple to late models. And to the tour, lots of fans over there. So hopefully we'll see that rebuild now that they got done growing taters over there and got the pavement together. So hopefully we'll see them rebuild that fan base and hopefully see them do well. So and hopefully we can be a part of that.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens up at Lonesome Pine. I've been keeping up with the practice and everything, and the work they've been doing on the track. Repaving the turns and everything looks really, really good. And I wish them the best up there. I'm glad to see that track's operating again, and hopefully they'll have some really good results.
Because they had correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have the All-Pro Series back in the day?
That's a very good question.
Because I know they had.
I know they had some really big races up there back in the day. I remember years ago that.
Because I worked the
really
pro
loved
car
that
races.
track.
Because I know they did the pro car races because I worked them. So if they can handle the pro car races, I'm sure they can do the super late models.
I did fly some races for Jack back in the old Pro Cup days up there. So Jack's familiar with the facility and everything. I mean, like I said, I've worked some UARA races up there, Super Cup for Joe Smalling, and Jack in the Pro Cup series. I mean, they've had a lot of big races over the years. So I mean, hopefully that track can get up and going again. I mean, that's it's a really nice track. I mean, it's a little bit off the path. I mean, but a lot of racetracks are, and sometimes I mean. If you're a real race fan, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, where it's located, just go support the racetrack and keep them running, keep them open.
Yeah, and that's a place where you plan to go as a family because it's not your typical place. It's the setting is absolutely gorgeous. That's a place that you want to go visit from time to time because it's such a beautiful place. That's a place that you want to go spend all day and then to go to the track. So, that's just a gorgeous place. That's some of the that is one of the most beautiful, picturesque places to go watch a race. Man, make me kind of want to go this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, I know they're racing this weekend. Wish them the best. I've my plans. Excuse me, getting all choked up. A little bit up in the air right now. I don't know exactly, what my plans are for this weekend. I mean, I know Franklin County's racing Saturday and Sunday. I've been helping out Langley over the last 5 years or so since he's been operating, and probably heading up there this weekend. I know he's been working in the background trying to do track repairs and get everything prepared for the race this weekend. So hopefully he'll have a good result, Saturday and Sunday. He's got a little bit of everything running up there. That's usually what he likes to do. But also, like you said, Lonesome Pine, they're racing this weekend. A lot of tracks running this weekend. The car store's off. So, hey, we're off. Hey, we'll be back in action at 12, but get off the couch, get in the cars, get the family together, go support some racetrack somewhere this weekend. If they're running, get out there and support them.
Absolutely. That is, I think that's a good way to spend a a 3-day weekend. You got Saturday. Go out there and support the local racetracks, the short tracks. Go out there and just make it a day. Go out there, do some tailgating. Spend some time with the family. You got Sunday. Go out there and spend some time to worship, no matter where it is that you worship, and make sure you spend some time with your family and find that time to open your heart and find that worship. And you got Monday, more time with the family and do what it is that you want to do. So there's no excuse. That's what I say.
Exactly.
All right, partner. Anything else we need to cover?
I think we've covered pretty good. I mean, you wore me out. I mean, I know I'm, I always enjoy talking to you. Don't get me wrong. I kind of been bouncing around, doing the regular work thing and trying to keep up with my son, which,
I don't see how you can do that.
It'll be his 21st birthday, and I don't know if I'm ready for this or not. I mean, it happens in stages, I know, but tomorrow he'll be turning 21, and so he looks like he's about 14 or 15, but he's turning 21 tomorrow, which, hey, that's not a bad problem to have. I mean, don't get me wrong. I told him, I said, son, that's not a bad problem to have, so we'll be doing a little celebrating with him tomorrow.
Happy birthday to you. You live in a zoo. You look like a monkey. And you smell like one, too.
Happy birthday, Brandon. Golly, I can't believe it. I remember, especially talking about the last time we were at Lonesome Pine. That little turd was down there flagging behind you. When
yeah, he was.
I was up there announcing. Tony was doing pit road. You remember the time we were, it was a big points race and had a little rain, and Tony went out on the back straightaway, and we were talking to the drivers under the red flag, and man, we had a big old race. Had a huge crowd out there. That was, 2008, I think?
I think that's right.
And the crowd was like, holy cow.
4th of July, I believe.
Yes, you are right. We had big fireworks. Yes. Harold Crook had the big fireworks out there.
Yeah, man.
That was awesome. Yeah, I do recall that. That was awesome. Daniel, my youngest one now, doing all the videoing. He was in diapers. He was itty bitty. So yeah, big time.
Wow. Yeah, them were good times. I mean, yeah. Great memories, and hope we can make some more real soon.
That's right, and get out there with the family and make more memories. That's what it's about. Families that race together stay together.
That's right.
That's what they say.
Amen.
Well, partner, I sure do appreciate it. We covered lots of stuff, and man, this was a good family show today.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good, clean family entertainment.
That's right. That's right. Well, I enjoyed it as always, Danny, and as we always say, until next time, we'll see you at the races.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.